They've started out playing in relegation with that win over Nightblood Gaming, and I think that if they finally have that core 5 set in stone with these compositions they like to run, we could see a lot more competitive of a series here, even if it is just a seeding match.
And just on paper, we're seeing, you know, the map here for Prosperity where they've just had the most power. They took down Blue Water and Windcliff on this map alone. Yes, it was a 13-11 against SAD, but that's what it is. It's 13-11.
Well,
such thin margins. But here we go. It is Tuzi up on that front line, already trying to hold off a bit of a C-sig. All for Prosperity, trying to clamp down right on him. And indeed, the only thing that Tuzi can do is back out.
Well, they're already on to this C site here. Nice little denial again. When you're running a composition that doesn't have as much site potential, you're going to play for these traps, you're going to play for these retakes, which is exactly what this aims to do, right? You clear out past the barrier mesh over towards B pillar, and you're going to try and play retakes. But look, Prosperity understands this premonition, so they are going to fight forward through Waterfall. You know, they now can understand players are going to be coming heavily from that flank through Revolving Door. So what do? Flip the site, push into CT, and seems like Magic's doing a good job at that. Jerwin now on an island, overwhelmed. The fault line comes through, and just like that, players for the side of SAD are dropping like flies.
One enemy remaining.
There's even some utility used here to try to deny this defuse if it does go in, but it just does not matter. Crossfire is there for the last two. So you got Prosperity with a sharp start, but again, got to give it up to the fact only one person there on that C site. Prosperity able to take full advantage of the space.
I'm out of here.
Good ambition to take those back lines, to take back CT. But we got to move on to the next. SAD Esports. Still could see some big potential, you know, out of just the flying pistols. You know, we get to see some fun here. This game is supposed to be fun, Zobi. Let's have fun with it.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, great way to kick things off here, right, with a pistol round on the attack side. And if you found that success on C, realizing how light the hold is because that deadlock is front and center B, then yeah, run it back. And I do like how they're, even though they don't have kind of that true life sentinel, they're still playing this double lurk, right? You're leaning into Manny, the self-sufficient Clove with a pick-me-up to push over towards A, to disrespect the toxic screen, and you have Omen kind of trying to respond to that spawn pressure that did mount last round on the pistol and kind of kicked things off poorly for Prosperity. So already trying to fix mistakes. But speaking of fixing mistakes, SAD, 3 players strong on the C site. They heard all that utility. They saw the salvo set up for this execution, and they're here, right on the right site, right time. Oh no!
Here, though, this defensive side, yeah, this one's gonna hurt.
Spike
but, oh my
down,
goodness!
C.
Oh my goodness! SAD just got 2 frags.
Oh.
Yes, this is gonna be the kill for Manny, right? Right? Okay. Oh.
How long were they gonna push it out? I mean, that's crazy. And I mean, it works because you now have opened up the B site. You were like making sure nobody else was gonna be home for this plant, but kind of gave more time now, I would say, for SAD to find this impact kill over towards Mount, and now set up for kind of a crunch play because you're Neon, because Magic is alone over towards B main, worried about these players coming through spawn.
Ooh, okay. Cage is gonna go up, gonna allow for a bit of a cross here. It's not gonna be easy for the Neon to try to get something out of this. Won't be in his way. Magic's have been looking for a gap, but there goes the crossfire. 2 players stuck over towards connected. Defuse is going in. Defuse is down a half. Tuzi is close. The defuse is fully in. The pistols come flying in, like we were trying to hint at a little bit earlier. And SAD, indeed, are actually able to win that round out.
I was worried about the pacing there a little bit, right? They were a little bit slow rolling after picking up that Bulldog over towards Mound, but that's how you want to see Benji utilize this deadlock kit. Again, fragment the players, take number advantageous fights when you do have the worst weaponry, and we love a little ninja defuse on top. So while, you know, we may have seen a joke made of a few, you know, SAD players there like the Viper, it's ultimately, you know, SAD who gets the last laugh, stealing away that second round thrifty.
And getting beautiful stuff off the Tejo that is going to get nerfed in a little bit, but that utility right there, the use of that util is not going to get nerfed. Beautifully done, but here is another beautiful play here. At least on paper here for Prosperity, they're able to safely make their way into the C site. The safety here from SAD is all really depending on Zerona, and Zerona is still going to get exposed for it. That's a clean trade, but not anymore. Magic looking for the rifle is going to go down to Jerwin. Spike still has not gone down. So Prosperity, the advantage that they had by quickly getting into the C site is already lost. SAD has surrounded the site. The only way they can go back is through main.
And I was questioning the disengagement there from Yuki. I think the idea was maybe Hopefully, it was my guess to send utility towards an alternative site to get some of these players off, but just cutting noise is enough to have that effect, right? 2 players, Jawa, Jarwin drawn already into spawn, but as soon as contact's made, as soon as Yuki makes that swing, they migrate right back. And you mentioned they're going to have that advantage for the reflood setup here, right? The net goes in. Manny, who has his biggest weapon in hand, is trying to be that difference maker, but just none of the kills are going his way. Okay, here we go. Still 20 seconds to go, no spike plant despite the kills found, favoring the side of Prosperity here, and it's just sad taking the fights one after another. And Jerwin, ironically the player that was the deepest off site there over towards CT, is the one to collect all 3 to get sad in the lead early out the gate. Okay. I mean, we don't want to like overcomplicate things just yet, right? It's still a 2-1 here. It is still, I mean, getting into these rifle rounds, and I mean, no ults online either, so fairly well rounded here. But finally, we get to see Prosperity widen the playbook a little bit. You know, heading over towards this A site, departing from the C they so fruitfully fought for, and a great timing to do so as well, right? Sad decided to take the initiative, fight forward towards C, and I mean, Manny's at least here to cut it down to size, but they got all this space A, which was the takeaway.
Now Sad forced to really make a risky play here, down to 2. You can already see the compensation here. Jerwin all the way up in C mounts. We are going to be splitting the C hold here. You're going to have a player for each one of the poles, each one of the main choke points of this map. Benji standing on his own still, but Prosperity, they're giving themselves plenty of exit points here. If they get into an interaction over here on A, they can blitz over towards B, but it's all going to be on 1, potentially here over towards B. Benji going to be able to get 1, but that's really it. Yes, Jerwin is able to get his kill, but B technically is open. However, they're not going for it. They're going for Zerona. They have no idea where Zerona is. Zerona's going to get a free kill off the off angle. Now we're back down to 2.
And the whole entire B rotation hinged on Manny clearing out all of B main. So German getting that backstab, they knew it wasn't a go-to site because they would have gotten surrounded. And now, I mean, you mentioned it, they lose a few kills off of Zerona, but it's still a spike plant. It's still a 2v2. So I think this is the best situation they could have asked for. And if Yuki's able to find Zerona or Jerwin, that's also going to be the Armageddon online, hopefully cap off this round. But gotta get that far first.
There's Yuki. Yeah, there it is. There's still Jerwin. Has an eye on Yuki, has no idea about the other though. Skirting around, Jerwin does make it past the breach, but there's the kill for Prosperity. Prosperity going tit for tat, but a dramatic way to do so. They were up by 2.
Leave it to me. I'll rough them up.
Yeah, the refract just doesn't come in quick enough. I liked the dash to clear out all of, drop all of heaven to make sure it wasn't double kind of pronged control there off of Yuki also playing from ropes, but oh no, I think the push and pull here has been nice. We've seen Sad, able to get away with a few surprises here because of the lack of a Sentinel, particularly Jerwin in that round up against Manny. But again, the late round call there from Yuki to lock in here on the ace fight, even if they did lose the Omen in that fight. All of it puts us here to the 2-2. Economy okay. Operator online, but on the wrong side, and they'll really have a good crunch to deny this ace base this time around, but how does the follow through look from Sad?
Magic is basically going to be the only one taking this response, as there is the burst, huge burst onto Magic. Zerona alongside the Tejo still out. You have Benji looking for the cross. Vantic, he has no chance. Armageddon in his face for Prosperity. They aren't going to use that distract. They are going to use that effort from Sad to burst into the B site. They have B completely open. They're looking for at least a frag before they get that spike down, but this is going to be basically a flip of what happened in that last round. We're going to have Prosperity looking to flip a 3v5.
Yeah, Manny's cleared out all of spawn, and the alarm bells have to be going off. Like, I have not seen anybody. Where are they coming from? And, I mean, Sad has all the info, right? Sonic sensor was destroyed. They hit the spike. And I think that's where Manny calmed, and they realized, okay, they're coming from the flank. The reposition from Izo's perfect to avoid this annihilation, but just the scare tactic alone gains all this space and allow Sale to stale in slowly but surely.
Manually reviving Yuki, not having his gun out and not able to help. Just a bit of a scramble there from Yuki, but Sad they're going to be able to land on their feet. Good trades, but you almost think that Prosperity has a chance there, 3v2.
Yeah, the recognition, again, of where the players for SAT had to be coming from was spot on, but how they handled it. And I feel like the impact of that deep control just wasn't squared away. And as a result, I think Prosperity now with this, I'm assuming, timeout on their side, since they're the trailing team, my guess is that it's aimed towards, again, some of these gaps because of the lack of a Sentinel here. Like we mentioned, Jerwin's always getting through spawn. They didn't really have a player to watch over their backs over towards a main. And we kind of go back to that default a few rounds prior where they had an Omen watching pillar. They had, Manny watching over a main. Those were really, really clean starting setups, and they kind of departed away from them in favor of more direct executions, in favor of deep spawn control. And Sad's just kind of abusing the knowledge around that factor here really well.
It's not like Prosperity isn't pushing these players early on to try to get out of position too. They've done a good job, again, consistently putting out that look from Manny, consistently putting out that look over towards A mount, towards the outside of A. And that, at least in this last round, it did affect this team. It did pull those rotations, or at least kept them over towards that A site. That's basically all that you can really call for here in these early rounds for Prosperity. Just keep up sort of that conditioning right now. With the fact that these players, they look pretty free right now in the positions that they're in. It's not like Manny can do too much on that Clove. Doing a very good job kind of independently getting some control. Again, just keeping the rotations.
And I think coming into this round, again, another factor to point out is despite being eco, all these ults online, that's when you want to take a timeout to concoct a possible eco strat where they can make up that deficit in weaponry, but not when the players that have these ults like your Overdrive are getting off by Jerwin. 2 kills found and no trades to follow because Zorona is there to also bolster this defense. So the switch up away from the Omen solo C is perfect out of SAT Esports.
I know that's a call and a half from SAT. ISO looking for a couple of headshots, but it's not going to happen. But yeah, wow, good stuff from SAT, at least this round with the setup. At some point, Prosperity was gonna fall into one of these early traps, though. Consistently, SAT has been sort of switching up the positionings in the early rounds, not too heavily, but enough where Prosperity, they're running into a different look basically every round. It finally comes in clutch there for SAT.
Yeah, just insane opening. Jerwin's right been biding his time over towards C, right? Waiting for them to come back because the few opening rounds they did start out C. And then he was always flanking with an op, retaking through B, pinching through A. And all in all, really nicely done there. And he wanted more. And at this point, timeout's been denied. You have weapons back in hand. You didn't get the chance to use those ults, credit to Jerwin, who's also trying to challenge through the salvos. But again, when you're on a way, like you can with the refract. One thing of things you can't get away with. Vantic from the shadows to spawn. Zorona shuts that down.
That's a huge call out. That positioning was going to be big, but again, SAT, they already had 3 players surrounding the site, and now they have all 5. Prosperity running one by one into a crossfire of 5. Unbelievable stuff. Zorona's able to get themselves a third off of this one. Manny trying as they may. He's trying to hold on to a rifle and hold on now. Oh, he's trying to poke at the eco more than anything, but speaking of the eco, Prosperity has been totally reset at this point. SAT now with a golden, a golden carpet, not a red carpet, a golden carpet to a dub here in the half.
And I love how Jerwin that round as well, right? Instead of being the starting actor like he was the round prior with the opening 2-piece off the operator, he utilizes his ult, that converging paths, to allow Zorona to have that forward prowess, right? All those players hindered. And as Zorona fights forward as well, might as well get that ult charged up in tow to strengthen the defense ever more. And all in all, you mentioned it, they have this golden carpet set up, a golden ticket right now into a successful defensive half. We mentioned these comps are weak on the defense, so they're playing this perfectly. Now Jerwin, again, right place, right time.
But Magic unable to strike down onto Jerwin. Again, it was really 2 sides of the coin there. Both a great situation, but a terrible one at the same time. But it doesn't work out for either. And instead, we see the re-engagement there from Jerwin, and he goes down. Prosperity, they have a couple of options. They can back up a little bit, try to let the play breathe. But they're already bursting into connector. And look at the hold off here, Zorona. No chance to make it through the smoke. Player's already on site, but hold on. How does Jawa just burst through the smoke? How does he take down 2? The gunplay, the gun advantage there works out a little bit, but there goes the trades. Vantic and Yuki taking the round back a little bit, back down to the 2-on-2. A trade does not force anyone to burst out.
Got plenty of time to navigate the situation. I like not planting just yet on the site, but together pushing top mid, but they don't expect the backstab. They don't expect Benji through their wall after it dissipates to fight back, and it's all down to Magic.
And with the spike too, he accidentally picked up a stinger.
Oh, Poppy Overdrive, baby.
Ooh, do some. He has a little quick step too, but it doesn't matter. Tuzi's gonna slap him down. Sad's gonna be able to snag a 6th. But again, more importantly, Prosperity again barely had anything going into that round, still able to make something out of it. And get the rifles back in their hands, so not exactly a lost cause here for the half. But
yeah, no, I liked the way they were able to battle it back, right? This was a 4v2 down to a 2-on-2. This coordination right here with the sheriffs in hand out of Blue Room, after we did see that beautiful rotation and kind of acknowledgement out of Sad because the wall blocked up all of A, they knew they had to go B, so they're doing a good job hurting the players. But again, Prosperity X, a team not to sleep on when it comes to the mechanics. And now hopefully not a team to sleep on when, again, it's a buy round. It's these big ticket ults like an Armageddon and Rolling Thunder. And they're taking them, strolling towards A.
Ooh. Benji. He actually does collect a couple of bullets. He hears some sounds on the outside of A. That's going to pull Jawa. This is the tough one now. Sad Esports, they're not pulling too much of a look here. They've only shown Benji, and Benji has never played A. At this point, or really hasn't been. It hasn't been really that front-looking face on this map or on this side.
That was
of the map,
the idea.
Still,
obscure Jerwin.
Yeah, but Jerwin, exactly, in the front lines, or in the back lines, excuse me, finally able to get himself a shot, but there goes the burst. Magic just gets slapped down by Benji. Benji looking for another one, but still not going to happen. Down to the 3v2. Chance here, at least for Yuki and Izo. Izo not able to get anything, and Izo is down to 10 HP, and he watches his teammate goes down. Right next to him in Zerona through the smoke too. Beautiful plays from Zerona so far this game, and Sad just looking fundamental.
I mean, from start to finish, that was such a strategic outplay, right? You mentioned it. Benji this time forward facing, like, yep, look at me. Use your util on me. So that Jerwin can get that swing on to Tree. And when there's 3, almost 4 players looking at you, the fact that he's able to get away as well to backside, that forces out the Rolling Thunder early. And then Benji, I mean, in the face of a Rolling Thunder, is able to not only get a kill with the shorty, but deploy his wall over towards a main so that you have to force all those players to funnel in through Tree. So really, really nicely done. Set up now an advantage in the half. And Prosperity, I mean, I'm going to say there's success in getting the spike down, at least has been towards B. So it's not out of the ordinary to try fighting there early, but it's kind of triggered a trap that has no opponent out of Sad.
It's been a pretty consistent mentality too with Sad. I mean, they're fighting that first contact kind of, you know, a little tooth and nail at the bare minimum, but then they back out, readjusting almost every single time we've seen Prosperity on one of these takes. And yeah, if the hold holds, great, but the retake is just even better from Sad. Here comes Zerona. Gonna get taken down by Izo. Still a lot more to deal with here on this A site. Prosperity, yes, they do have a bit of an insurance option, but Jerwin might actually get caught out. Yes, Vantic TPs, finds Jerwin. And there goes the big rotation back over towards C potentially. It's going to have to be a big one-on-one here.
I mean, you saw the Viper deep A, so you're expecting, okay, only a singular operator depending to C, maybe an Omen here. And that's about it. So pressive utility ensures no punishment. Should keep it clean for the 3-on. 3 for the site at least with your Neon lurking, but this Armageddon, all it does is force the fights, and Prosperity X is winning them off of Manny.
It's an opportunity, but again, Manny has nothing. It's all Magic. Magic bursts around the corner. Oh my goodness. The trade still comes out, but come on, Manny. You have to imagine Magic comes out just a little bit earlier there just to try to give Magic that life, or just try to give the Clove a little bit of that work, but no, nothing.
It finally felt like Prosperity had an advantage in terms of keeping plays under the radar, in terms of having a really strong control of the site. And the fact that Tuzi is the one to walk away with that clutch as well. He was the first one to pick up the C side after Jerwin gets shut down by Vantic with the Sheriff. And so he plays that, communicates well, and all in all, they still get an 8th, but not over for the C side. I mean, they're winning the opening kill there round after round. Yeah.
That's huge once again for Prosperity, but rarely have we seen Prosperity really get that first kill and cut noise, you know, regather a little bit. But they already have a bit of a buddy system, to say the least. 3 players surrounding Mound as they get that frag, so not really much of a regather. Only a couple seconds into the round 2. But this is their usual dynamic, and it's gonna fall apart. Manny on his lonesome is that dynamic, but no more second prong, I guess. Prosperity still trying to target that C site, and this ultimate is everything. Viper's pick gets pulled up. It's a brick wall in front of C, and now these players are stuck in Mound, and another free kill from Zerona.
That is a crazy shot. You mentioned how they were ironclad on the C exec, and now they get punished for it. And now look at this, Zerona takes the risk, and it pays off handsomely. The ace denied, but Joa, good for the follow-up, good for the 9th round for Sad. What a play over the pit.
Over his own pit, too.
Yeah.
Zerona. I love that. Love that from Zerona. It's still overall Sad. It's not like we haven't seen opportunities here for Prosperity. Again, they get themselves into that front line and they start asking so many questions. We got that first frag. Do we recollect? Do we attack? And by the time that they even get Manny into the right position for them to exit, I mean, you can't predict Zerona at that point, but you have to predict some sort of reply from Sad there. Unreal from Zerona. But here we go again. Magic on that front side. Armageddon to clear up a little bit. Jawa does actually go down there to ISO, so it's not like Sad isn't used to this one. You know, they've consistently gone down by a player in the early round. And what is this? They've cleared the site entirely. Jerwin has all this information. Now they can lock out the defuse. Zerona gets a kill onto Manny, and the defuse gets canceled. Now there's Vantic. Vantic coming out on the flank. Does kill Jerwin, but it's 2 men remaining here for Prosperity. Make it only 1, of course, because of the ultimate. Vantic doesn't have an eye on the defuse and will not get himself into this round. 10 rounds from Sad coming out of the first half.
And wow. I mean, again, Prosperity had a plan in mind, not that execution. Armageddon to clear out deep space. The Rolling Thunder to fight into the A-Link pinch. And just the reactivity again to pop the Annihilation from Benji to full scale from Jerwin. And I was looking at this fight over towards Pillar because Manny seemed like he knew that Zerona was there, heard the footsteps outside of C. And just losing out that fight meant every single plan was going south to the side of Prosperity. Now, this was a 13-11 last time these two teams met. And I thought that it was going to be closer as a result of now having that experience under your belt, but it seems the opposite.
It just hurts because it's not like these rounds haven't had the progress there for Prosperity. You know, it's 10-2. It's 10-2. That's all I really need to say. The fact that these rounds have been so close and we're still looking at a 10-2 scoreline, it's excruciating here if you're a Prosperity fan. But on this front line now, Prosperity looking to push the situation. 4 players all on this front side, all looking to knock down Sad, but it just does not happen. Iso, the only one with a kill onto Zerona. And it's not like Manny can't do anything here, but Jerwin is gonna get a nasty surprise, but no surprise for Jerwin. And a couple body shots too, like, oh, you think I wouldn't expect that? I'm familiar with your game.
And again, Prosperity plan in mind, but the reactivity from Sad, too capable, right? The speed in which they, you know, hinged and fought those 2 players over towards Pillar, it's just impressive. And now, I mean, okay, Magic's accepting his fate at this point. The 3 kills for Joa, they were at the crux, I think, of fighting the Pillar players. Like, 11-2, when you're looking at 10-2, that pistol is a must. And you saw the desperation and the aggressive pinch play style once Presence was out C. But, well, what do? You have to Stinger Force, right?
Yes, I would hope so. I mean, it's way too far of a gap for you to really think about economy, for you to, you know, start thinking about conditioning or anything like that. Oh yeah, rip the Stingers, rip them. Marshall's coming out, couple upgrades coming out. Big round from Prosperity. Let's see what they got cooking in the kitchen, cooking in the cookage. You got 4 players here over towards A, and Jerwin is already going to strike down onto one of them. I mean, the attempts are there. At least they're called attempts for a reason, Joby.
I'm impressed Magic didn't get hit by that first outlaw shot. But, I mean, the follow-up from Zerona. I feel like Zerona and Jerwin are the unexpected duo of this map, right? And, I mean, Annie, who I guess the most expensive weapon in this bunch, the Marshall, able to shut down a C exec. But, again, that's your lurk player. It was more of a nice to have, not a necessity for the round to be won. And so they're going to get a nice occupied B site. Going to get the sensor, the deadlock defenses up and procced. Now it falls to, again, heroic plays from individual players like Manny, who upgraded to the Guardian, but low HP from the engagement. It's quick work for that Phantom that was forced out by Sad.
Guardian almost had a chance there, but you're facing a red hot Zerona right now.
Oh.
What a player. And here comes
careful,
Vantic and
guys.
Iso. Hold on now. What was this? What was this V formation here? You guys thought that no, victory was surely in the hands, but hold on now. Iso with a bit of a chance. He has the 1-on-2. Zerona bouncing in a couple of bullets. And of course, you do have a little bit of util from the Tejo. And the round is done for. No time here for Iso to get that defuse. It was never really any drama with the Tejo still around. That is going to hurt. That is going to hurt. It actually hurts a lot. It just gives Prosperity a chance in this round, though. That's all it really does.
Yeah, Joa lost that Phantom. They had 2 Phantoms, right? You know, losing an Outlaw, losing some Stingers, it's okay. After the deadlock net play fails or falls short. And, I mean, mention it, it's a slim chance as now they have to win 10 in a row to get to overtime, but one nonetheless, because of how battered and bruised they are off of that bonus, it's now non-existent. Or you just force up, right? You're that confident. You've won how many? I'm counting, I'm caster. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 rounds in a row?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that number. You made a mistake, you know, even trying to count here on stream. You already know how it is with commentators and numbers. Not good. Manny here on site, though. Whoa. Things can go a little bit better for him, as indeed he stands tall. Manny with a quick frag, but not going to be able to get more. In fact, it's actually Benji to land on his feet and pick himself 2 frags. Sad down by a 4v2, and Benji starts things off at the bare minimum. Jawa, oh my goodness! Deleted. I mean, straight eviscerated, but still, here comes Benji around the corner. Magic is going to be able to take him out, and there you go. Magic pulling something off here for Prosperity, and I think that's what's been missing here for Prosperity. Let your players play the video game. Just let them do the thing. It's Neon. They can go fast, right? Neon go fast, Neon win.
Yeah, I mean, condition here again. I mentioned how it's hard with the setup to have a strong, widened map control, and you abuse the flank. They have a deadlock who's putting their sensors on site for Benji to stall out the retake, but Neon can get ahead like this. You clear out a main, you push all the way through while they're execing a C. And I mean, the paranoia was perfection as well from Vantic, so all of that finally culminates in a round 1. They break the streak here. They break the economy minus the hero rifle from Jawa as well. So 9 more to go, and another A fight. This time a solo Zerona. Might have to get out of dodge here quick.
Manny feeling a little bit of pressure, but does not care. Gonna have an Omen in the front lines, but oh my goodness. Barely a pixel of the waylay goes by. Jerwin is deleted.
How did Zerona get there?
And here comes Yuki. Manny able to get 2, and that is going to be the C site taken out, but you have to say Sad had a bit of a chance over towards that C site, and it gets denied there by Prosperity. And of course we gotta entertain Zerona here. My Zerona.
I've been thinking that the entire stream waiting to use it, and I just haven't gotten to. You stole it anyways. I think I'm just super impressed right now by the ways that these new compositions are coming up with abilities to anchor the C site, right? Like we saw a solo Omen, we've seen, you know, Jarwin and Viper, and now we're seeing a Clove and a Tejo, for crying out loud. I mean, the Outlaw, the follow-up from the Phantom, the stun for delay, all of it's great.
Toxins going up.
Okay. There we go. Again, a challenge onto the C site. And it looks like, again, it's just Manny here, upgrading finally to the Phantom. Playing so far forward because they know they have the not dead yet back online. And some contemplation about how to conquer this round, right? We talked about that hero rifle getting forced up for Joa. And Benji's saying, hey, I'll take one for the team. You have the Armageddon, you're more important this round than I am. And I can be the lurk player here off of my sensor towards C. But this is kind of what I wanted to see from them. They were going very direct, very death ball approach. You know, you got egos after winning 10 rounds. You got 1 more to cap it off and win your opponent's pick. And that's the issue.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
Just like that, they're done. And you got to give it up to the stop, though, early on here from Prosperity. Sad just boxed.
And there we go. I mean, that's what's so interesting about, again, these compositions is you're like, okay, we're expecting to be attack-sided, and then suddenly they're defense-sided. And I mean, sad again. All it takes is one round, and right now they're in this buy, sell, buy, or buy, save kind of dynamic. And again, they have yet to win A control. They've yet to win the C site outright because of the individual prowess of Manny. And I think what I really need to see from them is don't use the ults this round. I want you to take the weapons and deathball A main. Figure out a way to finally beat Magic out, because that's the difficulty right now. You're not having any widespread control. Your lurk player who was fragging up a storm the first half, Zerona, isn't able to have much impact here. All it takes is one round. And for the time being, they're going to kind of recycle a strat, go back towards C here, see if they can strong hand their way onto these eco weapons. Oh!
Let's have some fun here. Yuki on the front side with the shotty, and Manny again still with that, or still with the rifle, but nobody from SAD able to invade here. Tuzi had a chance, and Benji had no chance. Never bursts out of the smoke, never shows a pixel, and still goes down.
I had one ask: don't use the ults.
Please don't. Yeah, they're tempted.
Use the Annihilation. They already used one. And I mean, the Yucha combo was clean, right? The refract was beautiful, the paranoia follow-up, but none of the kills after the fact, minus Manny, went their way. And Manny could have come back to life and just decided not to. Trusts in the team. And please let them trust in the team correctly, Vantic. You don't have to take these egregious fights. You have control. Minus where Zerona has slipped the net. You have your Neon jiggling backside B link, but you didn't spot out top mid. Oh, not like this. Oh.
Here we go.
No.
Too slow.
Okay, they said no, the easy way. I mean, this is gonna be a plant, at least on the B site. And they got an overdrive out on Nico round. So these are some nice wins in the SAD book for the time being, but a 2v4 here, Sheriff and Marshall in hand, and now a drone. I mean, you can isolate maybe a 1v1 onto Yuki here if you get the proper timing. Oh, they got spotted, and it should all crumble. One more taken down by Joe, but all in all, it's still going to be another Prosperity round. 6 more to go.
Still a lot more to go here. Prosperity still got that advantage, but it does seem like SAD just figuring out little by little. It's just the fact that SAD, whenever they've been stopped here by Prosperity, they were stopped well earlier in their track. All right, so stepping into sight, definitely a bit of an advantage, or a bit of a progress shift. But here comes again a big round for Prosperity, where I think there might just be a little bit too much weight here potentially on Magic. These early plays from Magic, it's that over
Here it comes.
that potentially has affected this team a little bit in the past. Listen, one round is all that does it. One bad play is all that does it. Magic, you don't want to give up your life early, but again, he's looking for it. But
what did I say?
The ulti's going in, but still nothing actually working out here for the attackers, and instead here's Vantic. TPing all the way into the back. Jerwin is able to get the trade, but there goes Yuki. Yuki does get the trade back, but this is just a warp. Manny all the way over in Mound, able to make the rotation through C. Now it's all on Tuzi. Tuzi in a 1-on-2. Again, just to break that down, SAD, they were broken apart in their own spawn. Prosperity put on all that pressure. Now it's all on Tuzi. 1-on-2.
Cover going out.
Oh. Follow-up should be good. The trade should be secured, and both are actually going to walk away with their lives from the defuse. And we got to break that round down. Please. So much just happened there. You said it takes one, and I was waiting for that one. I'm like, you got the ults, you got the weapons, you just need to find a way to shut down A control. And they had a plan, a great one at that, right? Armageddon, force the Neon out, you know. But the Rolling Thunder, perfect, number one. Number two, I don't know if you saw this, but a cloak and an omen smoke were popped in spawn so that Vantic could, from the shadows, you have to guess which one he's in. And the guessing game goes south. Prosperity with all of those duels. And Vantic, I mean, I've never seen that play off of a double controller. And that's just so funny in a VCL promo relegation match like this, to keep Prosperity in it, to get their 7th. That's so funny. I don't even like.
No, again, you love to see it from a team that came from Ranked, that came directly from Premier. Prosperity, love to see the old matchmaking specials coming out a little bit. But there's Zerona taking out Vantic, but he's gonna get swiftly traded away. Manny, needing to back away, has a smoke in his face. There's a shorty, and he's still not able to do anything with it. He does have a target. Yuki still able to get another kill onto Benji, and Yuki just railing the players going through sight here. Jawa, Jerwin, however,
Gotta survive.
This was 4v2. Now it's down to a 2v2. Jawa and Jerwin winning some crucial one-on-ones. Now there's a big reset. B has actually been taken up immediately. Not only was it a bit of a reset, a bit of a moment to breathe, but Jawa just acts immediately, speeding through B, speeding through
Magic
A.
hears it.
And Jerwin's all the way over on C.
Yeah, I mean, they're 2 HP, right? They thought they had to play it that way. But again, the speed heard. And I mean, I wish they had just stayed and fought Yuki. Well, they knew Yuki was alone, right? Magic had just got the kill on B. It was going to take a second, even with the high gear, to rotate over. But again, a question of too slow of pacing this round, maybe lack of confidence with the low HP here for your star duelist. All in all, 30 seconds left, a 1v2. Should, keyword should, be another round for Prosperity in this situation, but let's see how it pans out.
Magic doesn't actually have full line of sight on the spike, so technically a chance here for Jerwin. And again, you're really not going to see much here. Magic does have the dash.
What are you doing?
Now this point is for the eco too. They could wait for Jerwin to stay alive there and maybe just try to take away the gun and keep him at the eco that he's at right now. But all good. 8-12 Prosperity. It's the result that you expected there off of the 2v1. But well played at the very beginning once again. Sad being forced down to that 2v4. And Prosperity, you got to give it up once again. Yuki this time being the one to hold things down in the front line.
And my questions now come out. Where's the timeout for Sad? I mean, I'm looking again at this composition and I'm like, comparatively, right, to a Breach Taeho combination, you don't have these kind of forcible ultimates. Maybe the Annihilation in combination with the Armageddon, but again, those are the two they're waiting on before having that pot shot strategy to close out now in 4. And just as we see maybe a change up, it's actually Prosperity to take that initiative, fight forward C, find an opening kill and get out. They're not taking risks they don't have to.
Instead, now a lot of pressure is put onto Zerona. Zerona
right here,
stepping up one-on-one onto Manny, around to A potentially, looking for the smoke to drop down. But as we see, a bit of an effort, maybe potentially some noise here from Zerona, an interaction at least to keep these players onto A. Progress on B here for Sad.
Okay. And I mean, 2 players ready to receive here. Magic, Yuki, Armageddon's online as well, just to reclaim this space. Fault line really working against Magic in this situation, keeps him boxed, gives an opportunity to Benji. Manny at least will cut off a loose end there against Zerona, but all in all, it's given up the B site, right? Wall deployed, some safety secured. Question is, which player heroically steps forward to get numbers advantage back in their favor? Looks like Jao's trying to be that factor. You know where Manning was, stairs. Your player ceiling, but that's all you know.
Still Benji just looking for an excuse here to use this Annihilation. But again, this is an extreme lack of space here for Prosperity. Time is ticking. They're finally stepping up here. Benji waiting for the call. Huge flick on the flash.
Oh no.
Able to deflect away from it. Benji, whoa! Missed shot from Jawa. There's still the one-on-one. Vantic going for the defuse. Jawa! The missiles are gonna miss! And Vantic still doesn't go for the defuse! Maybe a chance there for Vantic, but he didn't want to take it. Goes for the one-on-one, and Sad Esports gonna come out of the one-on-one with map number 1.